very real possibility. You have to be really careful about that when you go on dirt roads. Obviously, I'm not going to condone. There's some stuff out there. I'm not sure what that is. I'm not going to condone people going out to even the Project Faultless site. God, it's going to cause the copyright editor to hit me right there, just that beginning part. But it's not. I'm not going to condemn it either. You got to kind of figure out what you're comfortable with and what works with your car. And I'll tell you, I took a RAV4 out there initially, but then I took a Volkswagen Jetta out there, or maybe a Passat. Maybe which one it was. So here on the right, you can probably tell that's the abandoned truck stop. This one's somewhat famous, I think, just because it's so prominent. We're on 95 now, if you can see that sign. So the story with this one is not so much that they don't have enough business to reopen it. I think that they do. They get a lot of traffic on 95, a lot of truck traffic. This is a pretty isolated spot. I can tell you, I came down one time. I don't remember if it was on a US 6 trip or just a trip around Nevada, but I came through. No, excuse me. Dinner's coming back up. That was a very good dinner, though. I know I said that before. Then I came up. I saw Coaldale on the map. Okay, Coaldale. I'll get food there. I feel like you look at a road atlas of the country and you see a dot, you think, well, there's got to be something there. But in the case of Coaldale, no, there is not something there. There was something there. There was something before the truck stop. I mean, there's a reason it's called Coaldale. They did mine coal there at one point. But so the truck stop, I want to say late 80s, maybe mid 80s, went under. And what happened was there have been people interested in buying it. For a long time, they actually had a sign up advertising it for sale. But just looking at signs over there, got like government property signs. That's kind of interesting. So when the truck stop was open, something they did with the fuel storage. They built it wrong, or it was damaged, and it actually leaked into the soil. So now there's this massive cleanup effort that's needed. It's going to cost this a tremendous amount of money, and if you're not going to make a lot of money out there on that truck stop to begin with, so it's not worth investing millions of dollars to clean up a diesel spill underground, and then carefully remove this underground storage tank and then replace the underground storage tank. That's not, nobody who's going to set up a truck stop can afford that. So I think, obviously what I think should happen is the state should just, bite the bullet on that, clean it up, because it's just wrong to have it like that. It's just not good for the environment. But then again, we're in Nevada, and there's nobody around. It's not like anybody's living here. Nobody's getting their groundwater from around there, so it's not really hurting anybody. So the likelihood of the state actually coming out and taking care of the problem is, I think pretty low. So, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Like I said, they were still trying to sell the property up to a few years ago. So, and maybe it's still in the market. And they just took the sign down. But now it's just a vandalized mess. You can go. There's some people. You go look it up on YouTube. And there's some people that have driven over there, and they posted videos of exploring the Coaldale truck stop. And, there's just so little left of it. It's exactly what you'd expected. There's a couple of little, motel rooms and the old truck stop building where I think the restaurant was, and gas pumps were. So from my perspective, it's not that interesting. But maybe, if you're driving across the country, you've never seen anything like that, or you're younger, and you're just not used to it. Maybe you find that kind of thing interesting. To me, it's just another decrepit abandoned truck stop. It's just got a little bit more of an interesting story behind it. So that's Coaldale. That's the only real waypoint we have. There's our aircraft VOR over there, and a cell phone tower. And, that's the nice thing about being back on 95 is on Route 6 you don't get cell phone reception for a while. There's my carrier I don't get it regardless. I'm not even getting it right now, even though it's got full bars, but it's not. I'm not registering on the network just because that's my carrier. But a lot of people will get reception in this area. So when you're on these more traveled highways, they tend to cover it pretty well. Which is nice if you want to, if you wanted to get out and explore, like that hill off to my left looks interesting. That's, you could potentially do that and feel a little more confident in it because your cell phone worked. When your cell phone works, you can, it's not a matter of walking 5 or 7 miles back to the highway, try to thumb somebody down to call a tow truck or, help you. It's a matter of you just calling somebody and sucking up the cost. But that's nice at times. It's something to be said about being someone. This guy. Something to be said about being someone independent in that respect. What's interesting about this stretch of highway to me is I feel like it has a season. It definitely has hours. Like right now, we're definitely after hours. Most of the people who are trying to drive to Reno or Vegas are probably further along. And the people who are staying the night in Tonopah are already in Tonopah. That's the weird thing about these roads is when you have towns so far flung like that, the roads actually get quieter earlier because people have to get off the roads earlier. Like Tonopah. If you don't stop in Tonopah, I think it's another 3 hours, maybe 2 hours to Bishop, which is the next town with several motels. And you think Tonopah's overpriced. Wait till you see Bishop, especially in the summer. They get a lot of people going out to the Sierras and shit up. Especially right now. I had to look at the rates, and they're way above where they should be. So I'm not going to be going to Bishop on this trip, and that's fine with me. Bishop, I like Bishop as a town. It's a cute town, but man, the motels are just awful. There's, for what you pay, you don't get anything. There's a good brew pub there. That's one thing I can definitely say about Bishop. Mountain Rambler. I like that brewery. Speaking of which, I get into Tonopah. Probably the first thing I'm going to do is go buy some beer. Because of all the COVID stuff, it's probably going to be, sitting by myself in my room, drinking cans. That's what it's been on these trips recently. I'm not comfortable with going out, sitting in a bar right now, even if the bars are in California right now. As I'm recording this, the bars are closed. We had a spike in cases, mostly in Southern California. I'm going to blame Southern California for ruining it for everybody, but I feel like it was the LA area that really got us. Man. And that meal, it was one of those. I was just starving, and glad I waited, but